It's the match preview for Wolves versus West Ham. It's been a couple of weeks, of course, since we last saw West Ham in action, Tom, and a little while since I've spoken to you. How you been? You been all right?
Yeah, very good, thank you, mate. Enjoying the slightly nicer weather, and yeah, spring is finally here, so all good. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, good. Just had a Mother's Day weekend, and all went smoothly. So, I was just saying to you, it's nice to be in the good books with the missus, isn't it, for at least an hour or two. So I'm pleased with that. That's not a bad return. Yeah, so it's all good, mate. And I don't know about you, mate. It's really strange. It's been a crap season. Even recently, obviously there's been an upturn in terms of our form, but it hasn't been the most exciting thus far under Potter, let's be honest. And I can kind of understand why. But even when you haven't got West Ham, I still crave it. Do you know what I mean? I still really miss it. And now we've got West Ham coming back. I can't help but get a bit excited, even though I'll probably be let down miserably on Tuesday night. But how about you? Do you get that sort of feeling? Do you know what I mean? That you look forward to the games?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't feel like a weekend is the same without Premier League football, and particularly West Ham. We had the sort of double whammy of international football, then an FA Cup weekend. Only 2 games in March. It's been a long month without football. So yeah, good to be back.
It is, yeah. It's really good to be back. Before we get into the preview, though, if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to do so. Also, hit that like button because it does help us to grow and also reach out to an audience, which we really do appreciate. Right, mate, let's get into it. As we do, we usually start with the opponent. We'll talk about Wolves. Terrible season for them overall. They've been very, very, very poor. I mean, we're no one to talk on this, of course, but they have been bad. Gary O'Neill obviously dismissed during the season, which was a shame, former West Ham player. But Victor Pereira's come in, and I've got to say, I've been quite impressed with him, actually. I think he's quite similar to what Potter's done. Feels like he's come in, he's just steadied the ship, made them more difficult to beat, and they've been picking up points. I mean, they're safe, I think, pretty much from relegation at the moment. I mean, it could change pretty quickly, that safety net for them. I think they do need a result. I think this is more important game for them than it is us. Obviously, we're 9 points, I think, ahead of Wolves now. So I think we're I know we're not going to go down, but I don't think that they'd catch us anyway, to be honest. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the manager? Have you been impressed with this Pereira?
Yeah, I think he's, like you say, steadied the ship, simplified a lot of things. I think towards the end of O'Neill's tenure, it got a bit, it was a bit of a toxic atmosphere at the club. It just didn't seem right. It was a matter of time, I think, before O'Neill left. They weren't overly pleased, from what I understand, from the Wolves fans of the football and the style of play under O'Neill. I don't think that's particularly gotten too much better. Like you say, very much like West Ham and Potter, but he's made them harder to beat, simplified it a little bit, and away form as well. They've actually won more games this season away from home than they have at home, which shows that they're a little bit better set up on the counter attack again, like us. So yeah, like you say, it's a massive game for them. Their recent form is okay. It's pretty much mid-table. I think they're 9th in the form guide. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. It could be a cagey one, but I think he's done a good job. He's done a sound job, I think, himself.
Yeah, I think so. I think as a Wolves fan, because you're in that predicament where you're heading towards a relegation dogfight or possibly even getting relegated, and I suppose we've been in exactly the same scenario where the results were so bad and so concerning that when someone comes in just to steady the ship, you can kind of sacrifice the fact that you're not going to be playing exciting football the rest of the season. You can think that as long as we're not getting beaten, as long as we can just accumulate those points, keep in the Premier League, and then you can kind of draw a line under that season. I feel like we're both in that kind of similar scenario. Although I would say, because I've always had the mindset of Wolves are safe now. Wolves are safe. West Ham are safe. The bottom 3 are going down, which I still think is the case. However, if Wolves are to lose this game, then you look at their fixtures, they could easily get pulled into this because I think they might have Ipswich after us, I think. So if they lose to West Ham, then lose to Ipswich, and all of a sudden those points could go from 9 to 3 really quickly. Do you know what I mean? If Ipswich win, and then all of a sudden they're not going to look so they're so safe. So I still think there's a bit of concern there, and I can understand it. Obviously, we're not in that scenario now. We're not going to get caught by the likes of Ipswich and co. So I've got to be honest. I mean, this would be the second season now. If it stays the way it is, which I suspect it will, that'll be the second season on the spin that top clubs that have come up from the Championship, top 3 clubs, are then going to go straight back down. it's been a big shift. I feel like, Tom, that this financial fair play rules now are starting to really grip the game. I think we're starting to see what this is all about, really, which was the monopoly of football. It's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger now. It's so difficult to survive. And it's almost as if it doesn't matter how crap you are in the Premier League now. If you're, as long as you're not horrendously diabolical, you probably will stay up. Like, Wolves have been awful. I mean, they were absolutely awful this season. And they're quite comfortably, they're 9 points ahead of the drop at this stage. You know what I mean? And you're thinking, I'm just going to put up the table now, look at their points tally. So Wolves now are on 26 points. 26 points. I mean, it wasn't long ago that 40 points was deemed, you definitely needed that as a bare minimum to stay in the Premier League. I mean, this season, I think 26, 27 points will probably keep you up. It's quite concerning, I think. I mean, we're lucky. I think West Ham are lucky. I think Wolves are even lucky that certainly this season, but possibly even the bigger picture of things. It's almost as if now the Premier League's now got its teams. This is going to be it pretty much every season, unless you get promoted and you really invest, which is obviously impossible pretty much to do because of these rules, or you're just really lucky with the acquisitions you make and it really works. You're probably going to go straight back down. And I think West Ham, to some extent, but certainly Wolves, are feeling the benefit of that now, where they've just gone, well, we've been awful this season and we've got away with it. What's your feelings on all of this? Is it something, because I suppose there's a positive and a negative to it. We're in the bracket of the Premier League clubs now, so we're kind of in a bracket. Well, it's hard for us to now get relegated. Even if we're bad, we still probably will stay up. So that's a positive in a way. But then I suppose the other side of it is it's not really competitive much anymore. It's a little bit boring if the top three teams just are always going to get promoted, always likely to go back down. I'm starting to get that feeling now, the Premier League, that's where it's at. Would you say that's fair?
I would say that's, bang on. I think I've probably not enjoyed the season as a whole, partly because, as you say, West Ham have had a dreadful season, but because as well, I think the Premier League's been slightly dull this season, just speaking personally. Obviously, the league's pretty much wrapped up with Liverpool. As you say, the relegation spots are pretty much confirmed already. And there just does seem to be that just lack of competitiveness within the league. And we had this big outcry, didn't we, a few years ago with the Super League. The Premier League is the Super League now. It is pretty much becoming the Super League. And Wolves is a perfect example, because you've got a team like Wolves who not so long ago were in the Championship, but have sort of hit the Premier League at the right time, got the financial rewards of that. And they've got someone in their team who, without which Matheus Cunha probably wouldn't have even 26 points this season, would be probably even lower than that. And he's a player that, your likes of your Ipswiches and Leicesters and Southamptons, they're just never going to be able to afford or buy in a million years. So the Wolves is a good example where they've just got a few players in their team. And so have West Ham, with Paquetá, Bowen, where would we be without Bowen? Like you say, it's been a dreadful season. And it could have even been worse if the teams below us would have been better, and we wouldn't have, say, someone like Jared Bowen or anyone like that. So, I'm finding that sort of lack of competitiveness a real problem with the Premier League. I think it does need addressing the money filtered down between the leagues. Obviously, probably a wider topic than today's video. But, I think it's been a dull season all round. And I think both Wolves and West Ham can count themselves lucky that there is that sizable gap between us and the Championship clubs now.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it? And it's as you say, it's made that season. Certainly, this season's been a strange one. The title race was wrapped up quite a while ago. The bottom three clubs are wrapped up. I suppose the excitement has been that you've now got. I feel like the middle of the table is now bigger. I think the teams that are now fighting for Europe, you've probably got a pool of about 10 clubs now that are realistically vying now for European spots, which I suppose that makes it a little bit exciting, that aspect of it. But certainly, the bottom of the league has been very strange, and you've got two teams in Ipswich. What was it? Southampton on 9 points. 9 points at this stage of the season is diabolical, and then you've only got Leicester and Ipswich on 17. It's pretty bad. It's not good. I don't think it's a good advert for the Premier League, really. No. It doesn't look great, and I do think it just feels like now this protection of bigger clubs, including West Ham, in that it's now starting to really grip. And I feel like what the powers of the Premier League wanted, they're starting to see now. This is like, because I feel like they created this financial fair play under the guise of we're protecting clubs, we're protecting the likes of Bury. We never want to see that happen again. But really, I think they saw it as an opportunity to go, let's just create the monopoly now. We'll keep all these clubs that can spend money, and you lot just can't. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a bit disappointing. As you say, mate, I think West Ham and Wolves can count themselves very lucky to be where we are at the moment, because it could have been relegation, really. Certainly for Wolves, that they've been that bad. I mean, but we certainly would have been far behind them. Yeah, as you mentioned, Cunha. I mean, without him, I don't know where they'd be. He's already made a noise that he wants to go. He wants Champions League, so that he'll be going, no doubt about it. And strange Wolves as a football club. Before we go into West Ham, I just want to quickly wrap up, where they are as a club. It seems hard to see what's going on there. It's almost as if like that excitement of that Portuguese sort of angle they were going down. I know they've got a Portuguese manager in now, in Pereira, but it just feels like that excitement's sort of gone now from the club. That interest that was once there, where they were getting the sort of top talent for Portugal and building this sort of they were quite exciting to watch. I quite like watching Wolves. I feel like that's gone now, and I feel like they look like a club at the moment that's probably going to go relegation battle after relegation battle for the foreseeable. I don't see a club here that's going to turn and start fighting there, unless they show some ambition in the summer. But I'm not seeing enough of that, so a bit disappointing for them. But let's go on to West Ham, mate. This is obviously being a West Ham channel. I think it's time we talk about West Ham. Look, Graham Potter's come into this club back in January. I think he's 10 games in now to his tenures. What are your feelings on Potter so far? Are you pleased with what you've seen?
It's been good and bad, really, hasn't it? I think, like we said before, he's definitely steadied the ship, made us harder to beat, made us more compact. Under Lopetegui, we had some games where we were far too open. He's addressed that and solved it. So, definitely plus marks there. But we also have, I feel like, played with the handbrake on, 90% of the time under Potter. We haven't seen the best of Bowen, Niclas, Paquetá, Ferguson. So it would be good to start seeing that with little to play for the remainder of the season. But I don't think he's the perfect fit for us, but he's a very good fit. That's my opinion, and that was my opinion last summer when we were linked with him before we hired Lopetegui. He would have been a decent transition from Moyes into a team that can play better football, play with more possession, but still be pragmatic at times and still adapt to the nature of the Premier League and get men behind the ball when needed. So he's a good fit, and whether he is going to be the long term 3-4 years down the line, but I don't think that matters at the moment. I think we just needed to steady the ship, which he's done. Now can we see a little bit more towards the end of the season, start building for next season, and blood the young players through as well. And start building, as you've talked about in previous videos, in terms of transfer targets and go from there. I do feel like he's a really likeable character as well. I think, in press conferences and interviews, he comes across really well. He's very calm. I think we need that as West Ham. We're always one game away from absolute calamity and a disaster. So I think he's got a lot. He ticks a lot of the right boxes. I'm just waiting for that game, that one game where I turn around and hopefully it's tomorrow night, and I just say, yeah, that's the game where this is Graham Potter's West Ham football team, and we can say, yeah, this is what we've got to look forward to next season. I hope it's tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm. You know what? You basically taken my words out of my mouth. Really, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I'm really happy with Potter. I'm going to be honest about it. I know there are concerns, and I get that, and I think that comes from a very scarred fan base that have been so deprived from some exciting football now for quite a long time. We haven't really. I can't remember the last time West Ham have really been an exciting team to watch. We've been so pragmatic for so long now. We had a terrible sort of. Even the season we won the trophy, we weren't good. You know what I mean? It was a tough season. We were in a relegation battle. I know the second season, Moyes' last season, after that trophy win, we started pretty well. In the first half of the season, we were getting some decent results, and we were sort of in and around the top six for a long period, and then that fell away. But Lopetegui was a disaster, and I do feel that what Potter's done in the time he's been at the club has been pretty good, really. He's come in and this isn't his team. He's inherited all of this, and he's managed to make West Ham far more difficult to beat. We look more organised. The players look happier. Everything seems better. But as you say now, we're safe. So let's see some more from West Ham. Let's see something to get the bums off the seats, get fans a little bit behind it, and get something to be excited about. And I think Potter, he's not stupid. I mean, he must be aware of that. Thinking there's only so long West Ham fans are going to kind of tolerate sort of overly pragmatic stuff. And also, Tom, we're playing Wolves. No disrespect to them, but this is a team that have been absolutely awful this season. Very fortunate to be in the position they're in, because really, in any other season, could be bottom of the league. There's no excuse, really. You don't need to go into this fixture, backs to the wall, hopefully we can nick a point. Just go for it. You know what I mean? I'd rather lose the game and just go for it, because it doesn't really matter anyway. I just feel like fans need, like you say, be nice now to get a bit of a glimpse, a bit of a window into what next season could bring, and say, look, we're going to be on the front foot here. We're going to play some good football. I'm not expecting Barcelona, but just some signs of that. At the moment, I feel like what Potter's done is he's come into the club, and rightly so, and gone, this defence needs sorting out. We are conceding. We were getting battered, weren't we? I mean, God almighty, 4-0 down against Arsenal in half hour. I mean, joke. And let's be honest, he sorted that. He's come in. We look far more difficult to beat now. Organised. The players look well drilled. They know what their roles are. They know, and all that. So I credit to him for that. But the practice now, we've kind of dealt with that now. I feel like saying, well, let's see now the other end of the pitch. Let's see a bit more. And doing a video in regards to the striker situation and Evan Ferguson, because obviously Fullkrug's now available. We'll come to him in a minute, obviously, because he's now returning from injury, so he will be available for our selection. You've got two good strikers now as well available now. Stop putting Bowen up front. You know what I mean? Let's just start playing players where they can play. Let's attack Wolves. I think this is the perfect game. What's your feelings on the striker front here? Because that's obviously where a lot of the frustration is with fans. We've got put in Evan Ferguson, we don't see him. I mean, are we going to see a striker in this game? What's going on?
I really hope so. I can see him starting with a similar team as he did to Everton, which would not be good. But I really would hope so. I understand with Fullkrug that it was a hamstring injury. You don't want to throw him in at the deep end. He's probably not going to start. But why not start Evan Ferguson, knowing that you've got Fullkrug on the bench who can at least play 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So you don't need 90 minutes from Ferguson. So I think it's a perfect opportunity. Now, I think Ferguson's been in training Fullkrug's been training in a couple of weeks now. So this is a perfect opportunity. It's a perfect game. You've had a long break. Right, start Ferguson. Let's see what he can do. And then if we need to, we can bring Fullkrug on with 20 minutes to go, get him some minutes. I really hope so. If he doesn't go with that, I'll be very disappointed, I have to say.
Yeah, I would. I think this is actually the lineup's really important for this, because you can also hear the groan already by looking at it and thinking, oh God, really, Bowen up front again, like the same. Because Bowen's not a striker. I mean, he can fit in and he can do a job there if desperate. If you're in a desperate situation, you've got no strikers available, Bowen can go, look, I can take that role on. I'm not the best at it, but I can do it to some extent. There's no excuse now. Just stop playing him there. Do you know what I mean? You've got the striker in. I mean, the Evan Ferguson thing's baffling. I just still can't quite get my head around what's going on there. Obviously, he went and scored for Northern Ireland in the international break, so that'll give his confidence a boost. So I'd like to see him start. Fullkrug won't start. I'm pretty sure of that. He's already kind of alluded to that, Potter, in his press conference, that he's just not available to play long minutes. Yes, he hasn't played long enough, but he is available. So I imagine he will be on the bench and possibly will make an appearance at some point. But don't start Bowen. Do you know what I mean? Please don't start with Bowen now, because but Potter needs to get the fans on side here and get a little bit excited, because you can sense there's a nervousness around him now. Everyone's starting to think, oh God, have we got Moyes Mark II here? Have we got another manager that's just going to be so pragmatic? And it's like, oh God, I was watching Bournemouth yesterday in the FA Cup against Man City. I know they lost, but my God, they were so much of a joy to watch, especially the first half. They were energetic. The crowd was up. They were just at Man City, the high press. I mean, we've got them after this. They're going to rip us to shreds. I mean, the way that they play, they're so on the front foot and so aggressive. And I was just watching it like green-eyed envy. Do you know what I mean? Watching, thinking, why aren't we like that? Why can't we be a bit more attacking and, get in their faces and make them make mistakes rather than this cautious approach all the time? And it just feels like that's what West Ham have become now, this really cautious team. It'd be nice to see that change. Before we go into our teams, though, mate, I want to talk about Niclas Paquetá. I mean, obviously, a lot going on with him at the moment. What's your feelings on this? I mean, obviously, we don't know how his mind is at the moment. I'd imagine he's pretty distracted. Would you feel that he will be involved in this one? Would you like to see him involved?
I still would, and the main reason for it is that we've got a player in Mo Kudus who's completely out of form as well, in my opinion. So you've got a bit of a problem there. You know, you can't just put Paquetá on the bench and say, you know, forget about it, and you can come on with maybe 10 minutes to go and just do something. But I feel like he needs to start, in my opinion. We'll come on to the teams, but I want to see him start. Obviously, Graham Potter will know what he's been like in training, day in, day out. He'll deal with him, he'll speak to him, and hopefully he can, you know, concentrate on his football and let his football do the talking. There seems to be more positive noises coming out of it recently, that it could be okay, but it could be better than first feared. So hopefully that's given him a bit of positivity, a bit of confidence, and we can see that on the football pitch. But yeah, we are, I think, in the attacking areas, as we've already discussed, we're not spoiled for choice in terms of players that are in form, playing well, looking threatening. So yeah, he's one I would start because of Kudus' form. But I hope for Paquetá's sake that he can, you know, really deliver a good performance for West Ham, because if it is the worst comes to worst scenario and he's banned for life or banned for a number of years, he's not going to be playing football for much longer. So, you know, you might as well go out with a bang, and hopefully we see him, you know, on the score sheet and doing his Brazilian samba moves. It'd be nice to see.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be good. Right, let's get into our teams then. So, as we usually do, I think we'll keep it the same formation that Potter's stuck to, which is 3 at the back, the wing backs scenario. 5-2, sort of like, yeah, box midfield, isn't it? 3-4-2-1, yeah, basically. Right, let's go for it. So, in goal, who are you going for?
Same again, Areola. Don't think he's done too much wrong. I don't think he had any hand in the Everton goal. So yeah, I'd stick with Areola.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the right call. I'll stick by the fact I think we need a new goalkeeper. I think I don't know if we will. I haven't, apart from James Trafford, that's the only players we've looked at, we're linked with at the moment, but who I wouldn't mind at all. But I get the feeling he'll go Newcastle, to be honest. But yes, another conversation for another day. Yeah, I agree. Areola. Right, so let's start with our back 3 then, centre backs. Who are you going for?
So I've gone Todibo, Kilman, and brought in Cresswell back. I just think Cresswell with that left foot steadies the ship a little bit, makes us a little bit better on the ball as well, coming out with the ball. So I think all those 3, to be fair, compared to the rest of our side, have actually had decent seasons. Obviously, Todibo's been in and out of injury, but when he's played, I think he's looked all right. Kilman, likewise, I think he's getting better and better as each game goes on. And like I say, that experience from Cresswell, I don't think Wolves got a massive load of pace going forward to expose him. I think that's where Cresswell does get exposed, when he comes up against real pace. So I think, yeah, I'd go with those 3.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I totally agree. Yeah, and for the same reasons, I think that Cresswell can handle this game. I think Wolves haven't got the best squad, especially attacking threat. I feel like we can deal with this quite comfortably, and I think, as you say, I think Cresswell could be quite useful in this. The wing backs, then, I'm assuming you're going around Wan-Bissaka on the right.
Yeah.
What about your left? Because obviously Emerson came in, didn't he, against Everton? Are you changing that, or are you sticking with Emerson?
I'm changing back to Skulls. I just want to see more of him. I think we've seen enough of Emerson. We know what he can do. We know he's an all right Premier League player. I think that sort of classifies Emerson. He's all right, but I think there's rumours that he might be gone in the summer. So yeah, let's see more of Skulls. He's done nothing wrong as far as I'm concerned. So keep him in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm completely in agreement here with you. Right, midfield then. So let's go for our sort of 2 midfielders, as they were. I'm going to go with Edson Alvarez in that one. I'm not thrilled with Alvarez this season, really. He's very hit and miss, I think, but I still think he's the best player we've got for that position. I think he needs to be the holding sort of midfielder. It's his partner, I think. I mean, I'm assuming you've gone for Alvarez. Am I right in thinking he's in there for you?
Alvarez in, yeah.
Who are you putting next to him? Because this is obviously going to be a little bit of a tricky one now. Who are you thinking?
I've gone for the same... basically the player that I went for against Everton. I'd still like to see Soler in a deeper role. I think he would be suited to that, particularly a game where it's not too difficult in terms of the opposition. I don't think he's going to come under too much pressure. It'll be every Premier League game, especially away from home, is tough, but I think he can deal with it. And I think, like I say, since Newcastle away, which is a long time ago now, I don't think we've seen him in this deeper role. When we have seen him under Graham Potter, he seems to be further forward. I don't think that suits him. I think he's probably our best technically midfielder in the team. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think, I'd love to see him in a deeper role, getting the ball off the centre backs and setting the tempo for the game. That's what I've got.
Yeah, you've actually sold me on that because I'm in an R in with this, struggled with this position. I was thinking about Ward-Prowse. Obviously, Souček's kind of got an argument to be in there because obviously a goal against Everton, so to give him a little bit of a boost as well. And obviously, he is useful, and I do. He's so vital to having the pitch at times, Souček, because he does pop up with goals. But I do agree with you. Actually, I'm gonna agree that I think Soler should be partnering. Actually, I think you're right. He needs to be. We need to see more of him in that deeper role, and I think as well. I think he's got that link up. He's a good link up to have between the defence and the attacking threat that we've got. That's where we struggle. We don't seem to be able to carry the ball very well or pass the ball quick enough to our front players. We always seem to struggle to break out. So I would like to see that. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that one. To have Alvarez and Soler in, and then you've then got the front three, as it were. Right. So I'm going for Jarrod Bowen out on the right, which I'm guessing you have. I'm going to go Lucas Paquetá out on the left. I'm dropping Kudus for this game. And I'm putting Evan Ferguson up front. What are you doing?
Exactly the same. Yeah,
I
alluded to it. I want Paquetá to start. It'd be good to see what how this case is affecting him. Hopefully he lets his football do the talking. And as we say, Evan Ferguson, why not start him? We need to see what, as you said before in previous videos, what we rested him for, what we taking our time, being cautious with him for. Just let's see him. He's not our player. We've got no obligation to buy. If he gets injured, okay, Fullkrug's back now. It's not great, but fine. Let's see him. Let's actually see him play. So
absolutely,
that's the front three.
Yeah, absolutely. There really is no excuses anymore. I don't want to keep. I mean, even Potter's just said in the press conference, we've got to take our time. Or he said there's a reason we're taking our time with him. Well, then the question has to be, why did we sign him then? Like, why would you sign a player that goes, well, he's not ready. He's not going to be ready for a few months. Well, why are we bothered then? Like, we might as well just save the money and go, don't worry about it. I am confused with the Ferguson signing. I don't get what's going on. It feels like there's more to it than just fitness. It doesn't feel like it's just fitness because I think he played about 20 minutes for Brighton. I think the day before we signed him, or a couple of days before we signed him, they took a battering, didn't they? Was it 7-0 they lost?
Yeah.
Was it Forest? I might have been Nottingham Forest they played. I can't remember. Yeah, and he played. So it was almost like, oh, he's fit. Great. You know what I mean? He'll be straight in our team, and we've barely seen him. So I don't get what's going on. Then he goes away with Ireland and scores. So I'm struggling to get, and I think he started against Brighton for Ireland as well. So I'm not sure about that. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm not happy with this Ferguson situation. We need to understand what's going on. I just want to see him play, like you say, Tom. What's the worst case scenario? He breaks down and gets injured. Well, we've got Fullkrug now. We've only got a few more games at the end of the season. It's not the end of the world, and we're not keeping him. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, he's literally now got a score in pretty much every game to stand a chance of West Ham putting a bid in, and that's not going to happen if he's sitting on a bench. So it's just pointless. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that one. Now, mate, it's down to the scores. Scores on the doors. I mean, like you've already alluded to, let's be honest, this is unlikely to be, much like the Everton game, a high-scoring, really exciting game of football. It's probably going to be pretty crap. But having said that, you never know. You never know. We've got no pressure on us. Wolves need a result, I think, more than we do. I think if Wolves lose this game, I think their nerves will start to rise. That, hang on, we're in a bit of trouble here, which I think we can capitalise on, get the crowd a bit nervous. If we can go one up, I think they'll be quite anxious. So, what are you thinking? You confident? You feeling good, or are you?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I am optimistic. I don't really know why. I think, like you say, the pressure is all on Wolves. I feel like defensively we have been pretty sound. I feel like they've not scored a lot of goals at home this season, so I think that plays into us as well. I think we'll be able to keep them out. So I'm going for a 2-0 West Ham win, which is very optimistic, I know. But I just think this could be the game. I don't think it'll be amazing. I don't think, like you say, we'll see Barcelona football. But I think this could be the game where we go, okay, this is the right track. We're on the right track now. Hopefully we see Evan Ferguson and see him on the score sheet as well would be really nice. So, yeah, 2-0, good counter-attacking, pick our moments football, all the pressure on Wolves. get the job done, win 2-0 and kick on for the rest of the season. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love a game where we can just go, just a little bit of a glimmer, a little something. You go, oh, that was good. We actually were on the front foot for a period of that game. We looked pretty exciting. Let's get a couple of goals. Get Bowen on the score sheet. Let's get Ferguson on the score sheet. Paquetá, someone like that. Just something we can all come away from and go, oh yeah, that's a bit more like it. A little bit of a snapshot as to what we can expect next season. I think that's fans need a bit of that now. I'm with you. I think West Ham will win. I'm going for a 2-1. I think it's going to be. I can't imagine. I don't think it's going to be, like you say, a Barcelona-style performance. I can't imagine West Ham are going to be dominating 90 minutes. I think it's going to be, but Wolves need the results, so they're going to have to go for it, which I think might suit us. Actually, to be honest, I think we will. I think the way that we're going to set up, which is counter-attack, I think we will set up a little bit like that. Because being the away team, we will be. But we've got to be good at it. You know, I don't want to see a counter-attack system, but we're not really. I want to see us really attack when we've got the possession to really put them under. And I suspect we will have more of the ball as well. I still think we will have some possession. I still think we'll have periods of the game we will control lots of the game as well. I think we've got too much quality in our team. If you look at Wolves' squad, mate, it's not the best. It really is. I think West Ham have got far. And also as well, we've got to bear in mind there isn't really any injury issues other than Antonio and Somerville. He's basically got every player available now, so there isn't. It's not as if he's struggling. He's got to put some, square pegs and round holes or anything like that. He's got a good option. He's got a lot of options on the pitch here. So there's really not many excuses, I think, for this one. And I agree with you. I think this is a game that we need to see a little bit more. And I've got a feeling we might see it. So, yeah, there we go. Both going to win, which means we're definitely going to lose, mate. So
yeah, exactly.
That's that confirmed. 3-0 Wolves. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll obviously do another video on the review. We'll come back onto this midweek. We'll do a bit of a catch up on this, Tom, and see where we are. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be a nice 3 points and something to cheer about this season at last. Until then, though, come on your ones.